What's going on, guys? Brandon from Boiler Room Trading here. Coming to another video recap. So let's take a peek at the old tasty minor red day paper cuts today. So this is all about keeping these red trades real small. Fortunately, day two, I didn't really get to trade yesterday. A little bit at the end of the day. Tested a couple things on the margin account there, but so far this one is open, is working. A couple different spreads that didn't work out here. Weird fills on CMG, but 63 bucks down on that one. Not a big deal. Another 33 red today, trying to scalp some trades that we had, and then 20 bucks red on the cash. So keeping those reds real tiny so far on these days, and these days happen, and that's a big thing with stacking up those base hits. You see sometimes I'm only stopping at 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks on the day 60 and just cutting it for the green day, just letting it run. It's all about stacking up those base hits. So keeping the reds real small today. We could have had a much bigger red if ROKU wouldn't have worked out, but we'll go over some of the trades here and the daily notes and what we've seen today for the market. Another crappy day. I didn't get the trade again like I said yesterday, but looking at most of the market stuff here, Shopify, but most of the other stuff that we had watched for the trades here, like Shop really had a static day. Tesla had a nice gap down for today, but again, yesterday was kind of real static sideways. Apple, most of the stuff was just crappy sideways, right? So it wasn't a really good trade day yesterday. It wasn't a good trade day today, and that happens. You got to capitalize while you can. So in the first trade you see there, the Shopify long, it was a 460 call. We took that in Tasty Works. It was a $10 green trade, and I'll show you where we took that one and why. So we have a little bit of a dip here at open. Now a dip to rip into new highs was the call. So dip to yesterday's close, or as low as the 446 for support. So we took the yesterday's close rebuttal here. After it started closing up real nice right here, I started a position right around here, right at the top of the 200 SMA, anticipating a squeeze up and over the 100 EMA and continuation. And then I got a nice big press of about 20-30 bucks into this consolidation. Did not look very healthy. That doesn't look like there was going to be any continuation off the 50 SMA. And then one of my elite systems that we do use, and I can't give you the reason why, but this level needed to be the breakout level to keep going upwards, and there's a reason for that. But if this level didn't squeeze out and break out, we were going to break down. So I closed the trade out on our second or third minute candle here, just marking it out for a $10 win because it just didn't look like it had the momentum to get to that break of upside. Looking at the volume even on the intraday chart here, that big squeeze up had a seller beat here, and then just not a lot of buying power, right? Barely anything until this candle, and then it failed, and then it kind of lower high volume, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look so hot. Real tiny amount of volume there down at the bottom. Make sure you can see that on the screen. My face blocking it? Oh, no, we're good. Okay. So with that being said, it had another attempt, but then a big fail. We kind of swapped short biased on there after it could not hold above that prior all-time high, and then broke that opening price, and it's just kind of, again, static sideways. So I had a really tiny green day there. The bigger reds on the cash account came from the BA trades here. A couple different puts. We worked 330 puts 2 different times on BA. Now, the first time we were pretty decent. We looked for the 200 SMA correction here, came back down. I held it a little long into the 330, popped up against us way down here, came back down, and took one trade off. Is about this was like a $15 red, I think. Yeah, $15 red. And then the second one had this nice VWAP, and we got short right here at the lower high. Came back down, kind of looped pre-market, and I was just kind of debating. All of a sudden, 2 big pops, and that was a $65 red. Looks like on here, and no, that's total. So 15 to 15 was 16. So this was the $50 red and a big squeeze out, and this was a 15. After we didn't, we got a nice short on it, but we held too long into the 330, anticipating that really nice snap that it had. But again, just going sideways again. A lot of the stuff just real crappy without catalyst. So red trades there on BA and those puts, and then ROKU was $2 on the day, and ROKU could have been our huge winner or huge loser today. So I didn't feel like hold. We chased a couple different trades besides ROKU here. ROKU was the one of the main 3 watches today. Now, technical from here, the 100 EMA over under on the daily is what we were looking for. That's the 4-hour. So as we came into the 100 EMA here, it was over under that with this gold line. So as long as we were under it, we were going to short it down. The price target hit was 129.40. This was the area that I was looking to get back down into. It was a big squeeze level prior, so I assume it'd be a pretty big support for that first bounce. But here's what happened. So we got short under this gold line here, right? Some was it 129 or 130s? We had a 131 and a 132 put. One made 20, one made 18. $2 green is the commissions on Tasty, obviously red still. But This sucker right here, unfortunately, had a big retrace clause. So this thing came all the way back down, and then it kind of started popping here. I got short under the gold line for anticipation of the hold. Well, then we had to hold through all this pain. We went from minus like 30 all the way up to minus 140, 150, and I thought about taking that off. I said, no, as long as it's under the 100 EMA, we're anticipating a certain EMA cross here, and that's what we stuck to, and I figured it would work out. So we ended up holding through the 150 red, came all the way back down, retrace all the way back down. Well, as it came down into this double bottom and the crack here, I got out because it was a 150 red trade turned into a $20 green trade. So I just wasn't into, at that point you just kind of lose that vision of the trade, getting all that P&L back, and I just kind of wanted to take a paper cut instead, just in case this didn't work out. It did break down pretty well and then hit the target. I mean, you might have made a little bit, but literally just holding that one contract and the decay working against us because it's a single contract, not a nice credit spread here. We had taken it here, and then by the time we were into fresh lows, we still weren't green on it. We're just about even on it. So the next time it came back down into here, we got out and it was still pretty much even on it, only $20, because a big part of taking options scalping and a really big part of hitting those base hits or home runs is the entry. Everything is entry on scalping options. So if you take that position and within the first minute or two, it either goes against you or goes for you. And if it goes against you, you got to cut that loss super fast and then try to re-enter. And especially if you're in a cash account with a couple thousand there, and these contracts are only $200, $300, $400, you can take 4, 5, 6 day trades in a cash account and be ready again tomorrow. Like if you're fighting the market and you're finding yourself on those reds, just let it go. It'll be there tomorrow. Let the cash settle. T+1 on Tastyworks. You'll be ready to trade tomorrow. So we capitalized on a few of those, and that was the ROKU red. On the margin account, we did take some reds, but I just used the day trades there to try and scalp. Again, taking a $18 red on a ROKU put and a $15 red on a BA put. So same exact plays we were looking at just happened in the margin account. So altogether about $53 here red on the day, so not bad. We're still $550 up year to date on the cash account and about 63 total down on the margin. So no big deal. We'll look for credit spreads and some other stuff scalping here, but that's the update. It's all about just keeping those reds real minimal, and then we'll set up for day trades tomorrow and hopefully have a better sell day on the Friday here. Hopefully have some good continuation on some pullback, because the market today just had that wild gap up, right? And then it just stuck, right? It's just stuck. Something's holding it up, fabricated up, no gap fill. So I'm expecting a later day, most likely wash than this. So when you see big gaps like this, it gaps up and it's just a bunch of indecision, floating doji, tight range right at 330. I expect it to be later or even tomorrow if we don't snap that 329.50 and come back down and at least fill to the live of 329 as a whole, and then kind of decide. It'll probably wash out later on in the day, and if it does wash out later on in the day and fills that gap and then gets bought back up on a big V reversal, we could end up somewhere around chopping up those highs. But you can just see in the market health in general the last 2 trade days, if you were red, don't kick yourself, because it was a shoddy looking trade day. But yeah, one of those bigger moves were Tesla today. So let's go over some of those bigger notes. That's what we got, actually. I'm going to go over some of those with you guys. So here's the notes. Here's the trade plan for the day. You can, let me blow it up for you just a tad bit. You'll be able to pause that and check it out if you want to. You can see how well these daily notes kind of worked. So we're going to go over some of these. First on the list, we're just going to blow through these a little bit. These are posted an hour before market open. One of the main watches was Beyond Long. It says 105 level used prior, acting as breakout and support. We'll watch for a move to 113. Here's the 105, right? Opened up, broke apart, had the roll. Then we said watch the 100 EMA and the pre-market breakdowns for support. So it rolled up. We needed the breakout of the split here at 110.06, and then a run to 113, this purple line. So that's exactly the long play. We had, again, posted an hour before market open way back here. I'm anticipating these plays happening to the T. So that was a nice long there and beyond right from the daily notes. Shopify we went over, Roku we went over, Apple. Was a big over-under split of 314.75. So directionally, no matter what, over or under that, with confirmation is what we are looking for here. And you see yesterday's high kind of get topped off with a failed cup and handle, and you start seeing that breakdown here. Well, this is that 314.75 split resistance. And as it kind of came down here, closing under the 50, riding that VWAP, looking relatively weak, having no bounces, that was the short confirmation. So you have that pre-market high right here at about 314.48 or so, and then right above it was that acting resistance. So if you would have seen a sell-off, and you see the bounce at the split, but there's nothing that could hold it, you wait for the retrace of that level, confirmation, right? So this split level was support, came back down, broke it, retraced to that split, Now it's acting resistance, and you've seen it kind of just break down and increase in some seller volume and had that downtrend. And of course, it was an over-under. I was looking for maybe a pop to drop today. So that's right on my notes, right from the Apple, looking for a pop to drop. Here's your pop, here's your drop. And it was over-under confirmation of trend, over or under this level. So nice little pick apart there. Tesla, looking for the long, of course, on the big extension, right? So right for the day notes, finally FOMO broke down 499 weekly support. Will probably snap. Watch for a 9 EMA daily tag for long. So that was the game plan. Laid out for you guys in the pre-market breakdown. Here's what happened right here. So here's our 399 or 499 big weekly level. Said it'll probably snap. Our next support right here at 496, but I said watch for the 9 EMA at the daily, right? So where's the 9 EMA on the daily right now? 493.50. So cruising up a little bit here, but 493.50, right around here. Anyway, Tesla bounced right into there, right to our gap level of support on the daily chart, 492.27, as we mentioned, that level here on the daily gap, right here, this gap, the big 113 candle bottom, and then 9 EMA, huge support. So of course we were long biased right out of the gate there. I missed the early entry on that one because it just shot out of the gate. It didn't really give us a pullback for 1 or 2 minutes of like holding support. It was just like see ya, and then higher low recovered this support than the weekly, but it was just going to be a scalp play up to the 100 EMA, which is a characteristical mover of Tesla. But again, an hour before open, anticipating that move coming pretty close to true is nice. And then Tesla, we got Facebook. That was a gap and drop. CMG, we're looking for all-time highs push if the 9 EMA held up. This was some credit spreads that I had messed up on prior. Was on this guy here. I was looking for that long, and I sold some 860s, and I put a stop out, and it stopped me out somewhere in here. The range must have snapped something weird here before open, but either way, a little stop out on that one, not a big deal. But as long as it's holding, again, the 9 EMA, we're going to be bullish into all-time highs. So we had 0 pullbacks of the 9 EMA. I expected to open up a little lower. And then we reiterated that trade. What do we got here? 865 in pre-market. So we've seen it finally tick and open because this thing, it doesn't have any pre-market data. It just randomly opens up. This was our level we were watching. So of course, yesterday's close prior body came down and held that. So it's still chopping, and I'm still anticipating more longs here on CMG. We just got to clear some of yesterday's highs tops, holding over 868, breaking over 870, and we're still watching. And like it says on the notes here, big upside potential. Look for next week if market holds. Well, it's been stacking up these higher lows here on CMG. Had that 90 EMA hold yesterday, had a really strong open today. We're still looking for upside potential to go test all-time highs again on CMG. Might not be today, but we would see. We'll see on that one, but that's still working out. And then BA was on the list. We went over that, but it says over under 330 and to 330.50, which is a 50-cent channel there. I'll be looking for a big short break, which I was, but if it's an under-over level, and you see it in the notes, don't ever, do what I say there on the notes, not what I'm trading in here, looking for those scalps. Because if you would have over-undered 330 and you would have seen a higher low right at 330, you would have seen that long coming from a mile away and not anticipated. I was looking at the longer vision here for that breakdown. Hopefully, maybe next week we'll get it. But characteristically, BA does move with that 100 EMA. And if we just snap to the weekly real quick here, you can see that 100 EMA was rejected a few times here on the weekly. So I'm waiting for this 9 EMA to kind of slowly catch back up, give it a few more pops, and then potentially a short roll into earnings. So that's what we're anticipating there on BA, but I'll have to see. But another one, V was on the last one on the daily notes here, and we did play Netflix over under as well, but I was looking for an extension play. So right from the, it says pretty extended from yesterday's move. We'll watch for possible pullback, early dip to rip. And then of course it was up big, and of course this was the level we watched for. I marked off for I can't tell you why I marked off, the elites lesson, but marked off 2 140s. That was going to be the rejection point. All you see is it open up, tag our level, drop. So real easy play. Again, posting an hour before open. If you do want to trade with us, the link's in the description. And that's a recap for the day. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day on the small account grind up here. Very tiny paper cut, cutting those losses real tiny. We'll try again tomorrow. So catch you on the next one.